I just wanted to take a minute to give you a tutorial on how to use the Randonautica app.
Now it is back there across this popular recreation path on those rocks where police recovered human remains on Friday.
I just went randonauting and I look out my window and there's someone laying in the gutter.
So head out with an open mind and wide eyes and travel into the world you never knew existed.
I'm Elle Devine, and I'm here with Paranormal X, and we're researching Randonautica.
My name's Stephen Cobb. I am the scientist for the show. I'm the scientist because I have a plethora of different science-based careers and paths and interests. Secrets revealed.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay, secrets revealed for me
Yep.
was middle of a yard and nothing.
Same.
Middle of somebody's yard, and then across the way there was graffiti on something that looked like possibly like a power system or something like that. There were trees. We just had a conversation about trees, but trees are everywhere in Missouri.
Yeah.
So,
but you did yours where?
we did ours kind of in the Lee Summit, Missouri area, and so
For those that don't know, Lee Summit is not city.
Right, it's a suburb of Kansas City.
Yeah.
For me, that was a bust.
Yeah, so we did ours around Odessa, Missouri, which is very agrarian, right? It's a small town, 5,000, and most of those people, at least at one time, the families that lived there were pretty well all farmers and whatever supported the farmers. So our first one was in the middle of a field. So when you say it's in the middle of somebody's yard, I'm like, well, yeah, me too. But the middle of somebody's yard was 2 acres for us as opposed to...
Well, it threw me off. He was like right here. I'm like, there's a pinpointed location?
Yeah.
So I think that's cool that they have a pinpointed location, but even... I mean, it didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and ours was just out in the middle of the field. We didn't actually go and explore right to it.
And there was that moment of, private property.
Yeah, exactly. One of the two of us was a little scared that they might come out with the shotgun.
Like that one?
Wasn't me.
Yeah.
Wasn't me this time.
Yeah, same thing. He was like, be very careful.
Well,
walk along the property line.
Yeah,
we obeyed all the laws. So, but it was still a bust.
Yeah, same. It was absolutely nothing. Middle of a nothing.
Did he do hunting? Did you do hunting?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
It was probably, I don't know, 200 yards from the graveyard, so away from the graveyard. So when we went there, you know, we're pulling up through the cemetery, a cemetery I know really well. So when it kind of pinpointed it, you know, again, it's my area. I kind of know when they drop those pins. I'm like, that's over by Odessa Cemetery. That's a good place.
I think that's funny. You're like, you know exactly on your GPS. GPS was meant for people like me. But, so for me, haunting ended up being the most haunting thing was a paper bag in the road. Like I saw something. He saw something, and we both saw different things, and they were both undead things. So obviously something happened in this area, and then there was a fence around it, very elusive. As far as I don't know who the property belonged to, but as we were approaching the fence, the security person was looking at us. But it was some of that strange area where there's an area of grass, totally different from the other area of grass, which, you know, is that uncommon in Missouri? I don't know, but still, you know.
Oddly, we had the exact same thing.
Right.
So really close to where ours was, there was just, you know, it was all dead because of the time of year that we were doing it, but there was this patch of green, which, I mean, I can go full science mode here, and it's high nitrogen content, you know.
What does that mean? Like, go full science.
Well, it just means that there's a lot of nitrogen in that particular sector. Okay. That could be for a multitude of reasons. It could be that somebody fertilized someplace, and this is kind of a runoff where it pools up, and that fertilizer sat and just sank in.
Or maybe you get more water or something like that.
Yeah, well, yeah, but nitrogen's generally what's going to keep it green. And so that was my joke to him was, if I was looking for a dead body, this is where I'd dig, because that is a fertilizer that will have a lot of nitrogen in it, is something dead that's there.
Gotcha.
But it could also be a dead deer that laid down there.
for
And
sure.
yeah, I mean, you know, but absolutely was a significant shift. Really close to that point.
The energy I felt on that site is I really want to get on that property. Like, there was a part of me that I like really wanted to get on that property. I even tried to climb down the side. Like, there was just all this brush and crap in the way, and I'm like, but I couldn't, you know, there was no way to get close without it being a legal situation. And so I don't know. With that one, it was kind of like, felt something. But I have to say, still, it's not like I don't know what I was expecting, at least with you going to the graveyard. Of course it's haunted, you know, to some degree, but, you know, I don't think it was a complete bust, but I don't know. I think it was like at least 70% bust.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't overly impressed. Now, again, I don't pick up on weird energies or anything like that. I mean, I don't. It doesn't matter if I go. There will be times where, you know, you get that little tinge in your neck, but generally for me, that's all stuff I can figure out eventually. You know, it's there's somebody over there in the dark that I didn't cognizantly see. So, you know, I pick up on that stuff.
How did you get past my spidey senses?
Exactly. 35 years of martial arts gives you a little bit of...
You have that background of like, if you could get past that, what's going on?
Exactly.
So fearful for us was a go. It was an honest to goodness experience moment that caught me off guard. Because like I'd had a couple that I'm like, I don't know if I believe that this is what this is, you know, because I'm just being open. But we ended up in a business district where I caught on to the feeling of rape in the middle of a field, and felt it, and it was at the exact point that he told me was the exact point. I found the exact point before he told me. So that was a definite, there's nothing, unfortunately, there's nothing like the experience of that you could say feels like this or that, and I don't know why I'd feel that way. But I was able to kind of get into the headspace of whatever happened there. And the minute that we got on site, my throat started hurting and I started coughing. And for me, often that's somebody doesn't want me to tell their story. And that doesn't have to be somebody who's passed away. It felt not necessarily like and the other one was haunting. So I feel like sometimes Randonautica, I don't know, I'll tell you about that after, but that one was a go.
Mine was actually, that was the best one of the bunch. Now, the actual random point was again another 20 yards, maybe 30 yards away, and we attempted to get closer to it, but it was just a bit into the middle of the field. But on the way to the field was an old microwave tower, an old cell phone landline relay station, and a new one, right? So there was a brand new one that looks probably 3 to 5 years old at tops, and the old one was there. So that means that the old one had been broken into, it was tore down, and so because I assumed they wanted us to go in, we went ahead and went in there and looked around, and you know, so that it was very. And
you didn't undo any doors. The doors were that way before.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, and it's and again through the harsher times, you know, the hard economic times that we have been through since that one has probably been shut down, it was ransacked. The price of metal went through the roof, and this place is going to have tons of metal in it. So almost all of that was just stripped out of there either by them when they built it, or by just somebody that's like, well, they're not using it anymore. I need to feed my family. Let's go ahead and recycle this for them. But yeah, so that was very interesting that it was around, you know, a solid communication. I mean, that's, some of this might be a reach, some of this might be a reach, and then messenger, well, yeah, I mean, it's a relay station.
Did you do supernatural?
Did we do super?
Maybe
think so.
Supernatural was mine. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe Messengers was your last one, and then Supernatural was mine. And then
So we'll do Supernatural, and because both you had Strange People.
We did have
So you
Strange
have
People.
to do the Supernatural one for the Strange People one to make sense.
yeah.
So go ahead.
So my Supernatural one, because I was trying to be like, okay, I've kind of had some 50-50 experiences, one intense and others not so much, because I want some nitty gritty. I want some real feelings come up. So I come up with Supernatural because I thought, it's similar to hauntings, but we'll see what happens. We ended up in a business area, and there was nothing but a couple people that were working the business over the weekend. Nothing. And I thought, that's
Disappointing.
So that's disappointing. I'm like, man, I really wanted something meaty, And then we went to Strange People, and we're driving around a car dealership, and nobody's there. And the fact that we can get on a car dealership is, we did it legally. Just saying, I don't know why I feel the need to everybody does, but we did.
Because you evidently haven't been arrested enough to really be...
I've never been arrested. Let's
See,
be
there
clear.
it is.
Let's be clear.
I have.
So we come around the corner, and it's the Supernatural car.
This is my face that I know their show exists called Supernatural, and I watched at least an episode of it, and I know there's a car in it.
So the Supernatural show, the car is...
A big part of it.
It's a big symbol. It's
I go to cons, therefore
Okay.
I know that the Supernatural car is important because it sits right there by the Dukes of Hazzard one, which is way more important.
It just made me wonder, because I think with Randonautica, I looked in a little bit, not too much that I was saturated, but enough that I knew, okay, what's going on. That Strange People to me was one that people see Strange People, so I was ready for some lunatic, and I didn't get a lunatic, but I did get Supernatural. What was my previous one that we had put in, and it was at this one.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that happened, but to me it was still indicative of us looking for Supernatural, and it came the next time we put it in. So there's a part of that I'm like, is it based on, did it not hear me correctly? Did it take a while for them to pinpoint? Did they pinpoint it too quickly and so there wasn't one? There were no people there except for us, and yes, we're strange, but not to the point of what I've seen on Randonautica, where I've seen some really bizarre people.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do I call that a bust? Because Supernatural, there was nothing there. Strange People, there was nothing there, but there was Supernatural. So it's a kind of, and that's my conclusion with Randonautica as far as that first taping goes.
Sure.
So what about you?
So
Strange People?
We didn't do Supernatural, and it might have been we ran out of time more than anything else, because you'll see by the filming eventually that it got really dark when we were on the Strange People, which just added to the flavor. So the Strange People took us not far away as the crow flies, but it was on the other side of the interstate. And when you go to the other side of the interstate, there's only so many jumping places, so we had to drive for a while to get there. And we're going, and again, I know the area, and I'm like, there's nothing out this way. Particularly, it's all farmlands, and with the way that the culture has gone, because my family are farm people, the corporations took over the farm. So what you have out in Missouri in particular anymore, and a lot of other Midwest states particularly, are old farmhouses that just don't exist. They just sit there, they fall down.
Or they go, Murr!
Yeah, exactly.
Boom,
exactly.
Right.
Because corporations buy out the farmland and are farming the whole farmland and don't want to deal with the house.
Did you find Strange People?
So yeah, I need some reins in from time to time.
Yeah.
So
I'm like, you can keep going, I'm sure. But
so we go out into what appears to be just kind of an old, used to be farmland, and we see an old outbuilding out there. Now there's a mailbox by it, so the point is well out there. And I'm like, well, let's just go. If this is somebody's property, they'll let us know.
Mm-hmm. Did it have that horror
It was kind of creepy, and it was right about dusk. Yeah, right about dusk, and there was a no trespassing sign, but that's what it was. It was so faded that it was almost illegible. So I'm like, I know the people of this area, right? Most people are fairly friendly.
Have you met me? I'm Steven.
Right, exactly.
It'll be all right.
And so generally, though, at least what you're doing out here, boy. That's as tough as they generally get to start with. They might have a shotgun in their hands, but trust me, it's going to be filled with rock salt. You'll be fine. If you haven't been shot with rock salt before, you didn't grow up in the same area as I did, so it'll be all right.
I don't know. Now I'm getting a little scared to hang out with you, Mr. Arrested Rock Salt.
Well,
okay, good go.
So we're kind of scoping it out from the road to start with, and while we're there, I distinctively hear either a female or a child's voice, young teen boy, sometimes has that higher pitch. I know I did. And it didn't sound like they were speaking directly at us, but the producer and I were talking, and I stopped for just a second to see if they were going to try to address us. Nothing. And so I did lead in, and I'm like, you heard that, right? He's like, yep. And I'm like, okay. So we continued and talking about what we're doing to try to dissuade if anybody's nervous about what we're doing.
Right.
And so it starts to get darker, and I'm like, come on, it's not really a house. It's probably just an outbuilding where they keep tractors.
Are you going to tell us what you heard? You said you heard
I never quite heard what they said. We might have it on video better or audio better, but he has not given me that, if that's the case.
Okay.
And so, but then we decide he's going to put on the night vision.
They said there's two of them. That's what they said.
There's.
That's what I heard. I heard there's two of them.
There were two of us.
Didn't mean to interrupt you, sorry.
But I count for 10. They didn't know that, though. But so he puts the night on, the
night vision.
Yeah, night vision on the camera. We're panning around a little bit. It does now look like maybe there's a vehicle over there. Maybe we shouldn't go out. It's starting to get really pretty dark. So, and after hearing some stuff, maybe we shouldn't. And about the time we're kind of discussing that, I distinctively hear something walking towards us up the driveway area. So not like on the driveway, because that would be gravel and it would sound differently, but on the other side of the driveway through the tall grass. Now that could be a dog, that could be an animal of some sort. It would have had to have been a medium-sized animal for that to go. And so we're just like, let's bail on this one. So we get in the car, and as we pull out, he's still filming, and he spots through the night vision two shapes kind of stand up, and that like they were hunkered down and watching us as we were going.
It's not too bad. Whoa. Yep. Hold up. Silhouette. There's a silhouette right over there. Yeah. Good.
So one could argue that that's definitely strange people. I would argue the contrapositive, which is that was their home. We were the strange people. There's that old saying about the only sane reaction to an insane world is insanity. So if they were behaving in a very strange way, which they seem to be, it could be because we were weirdly
you were
checking out their property and talking about it. Right, exactly. So personally, I would have just come up and, hey, what y'all doing here? Right. But I could understand a reaction that was less than that now if they were going to try to ambush us and take us out and take us film equipment. I mean, that'd be kind of foolish. We know exactly where they live, but you never know.
Do you know, were they the same height? Like, were they two adults?
One was smaller than the other.
Okay. So do you think that's a bust, or do you think that's a...
So that's all of the stuff.
So
I think we can get into the
So now we're to the conclusionary portion of the project.
Yeah.
Randonautica. I'll go first.
I was about to say, it's probably best you go first,
Yeah,
because I
I'll
think
go
we all
first.
know I'm going to smash it. So,
Hulk smash. Okay, so I would say that, again, like I had mentioned before, that there's some stuff on social media that can be brought into this application of, okay, of course, like haunting, you're going to go to a graveyard. Our haunting was some kind of, looked like a military installation or something. Well, of course, like anything could have happened. I would say that Randonautica is a bust, because I think most of the stuff that I ran across was not strong enough evidence for me to be like, oh yeah, like the one for fearful, and that makes sense. But messengers, to me, that could be something that was random. I mean, thus it's in the name. Random on the internet that they could have taken and made it a pinpoint. I don't understand the science, which is why I'm turning to you. But I just didn't
why did you double quote science? You can't double quote science.
Of course I can, because I know you're going to double quote my stuff all through this thing. I don't know. Like, there's a few things that the one for fearful I can't back off of. Supernatural, that was an awesome thing, but I still feel like that was a glitch. So I didn't like the fact that it didn't send us directly to something, and there was too many random middle of the field moments. I think we had another one, producer friend, where we were in the middle of a field. I wanted to say that we had one other, oh yeah, I don't know that we're using that footage, but basically there were too many that we were just in the middle of a random nothing.
Yeah.
It made no sense.
Yeah.
So that's my take. So tell me yours.
Well, I mean, I could code it, right? So I would be interested in, I understand the concept of it. I understand the basic concept of it. I question an underlying concept of it. So we'll start with the basic concept of it. The basic concept of it really, it was coded for people to get outside of their normal routines, right? So,
which they do, and like that was fun. I mean, there was parts of it that was fun. I enjoyed it.
But how do you do that?
Right.
Right. So how do you get somebody out of their normal routines? They know where you are, right? Because you allow it to know your location, and then you can just run a random number generator on both sides within the parameters that you set on it on the radius. I mean, that's easy. That's easy math. And so that will get you an area. Now, how do you hit them in an area where they haven't been often? Well, they also then have access to your history of location because they're on your phone, right? So which I think is fine. I mean, it's fine so long as you're okay with it.
I'm curious, did you use your phone or the producer's phone? Because I used the producer's phone because I didn't, I'm used to that area. So we did it that way on purpose. Yeah. Because I'm not...
which I think is key.
Yeah.
And, right, I think a bit of that is key. So I think that it would probably try to stay away from places that both have heavy hits. The Pokemon Go was a great tool for programmers to track people's normal patterns and locations and all that good kind of stuff, and where people could go and pathing to get to random spots and all of that. I believe that this easily could pull from that same type of database, so it would know things like sanctuary places, schools, and and probably try to keep them away from heavy trafficked areas, but maybe not so far away that they couldn't be within the realm. But then I think the other bit is just, it's just con artist 101, and not that they're cons, I don't think they actually are, but it is, you plant an idea in someone's head, and then they go out and they see that because they're hyper aware.
The power of suggestion and perception is huge.
How many blue cars did you see coming in? No clue.
Right.
I just said that. I'll bet you will see blue cars on the way home. Just because I just said that,
Yes.
even if we talk about a million other things on the way thing, you'll spot blue cars and you will actually be attracted to those blue cars for a second and notice them. Even if you don't notice that they're blue and don't remember that I said that, it will draw your attention towards them.
Well, and I felt myself reaching. I was hoping. I'm like, come on, give me some meat. You know, I want some real psychic evidence. I want something more. And, you know, I even thought things like, well, maybe we should have gone at night. Well, maybe, like, I made up excuses for why it wasn't working. Well, maybe we're not in the right place. Well, maybe, and it's not that I obviously wanted it to be more.
Yeah.
And to me, it's exciting that they're doing this, but at the same time, I feel kind of sense of responsibility of do it legally. Like don't put yourself in positions, and like they probably dissuade from places where people could get in trouble. Even though with Pokemon Go, I have to say that you see random people doing all over the place. So you would think.
But I would imagine, and I know that Pokemon Go does, that it would take restricted areas off of the randomized,
off the list.
You got don't try to bring somebody into NATO.
Right,
you know?
right. But it's the woods next to Walmart. Go for it. You know?
So yeah, I think it's a pretty good application. I think that it's interesting, and I think that it's, and not to be offensive if anybody particularly believes in the bigger one, which is why I'll say I believe it's a step above newspaper horoscopes. Newspaper horoscopes are just generic things that they throw out there that if you do read them and do kind of buy into them a little bit, that you'll go out and you'll seek, you'll look for these things to be happening in your day, or look back and see if you can find them. I think it does the same type of thing, which I think is good for people. I think getting them outside their comfort zone and then to seek out potential things.
Or anything that actually keeps them motivated to be within their experience versus just, oh, humdrum, it's another day. But newspaper horoscopes, just like you're saying, there's difference if you read it at the beginning of the day and then you anticipate, or you read it at the end of the day and go psh, malarkey. So
and I threw that one in there because there is a significant difference between people who actually give legitimate horoscopes.
Legitimate horoscopes, did you see that?
It was the legitimate part. The horoscopes I'll put right in outside those double quotes. But legitimate horoscopes versus those are just kind of cheesy and generic and
And so, like, it's not that I don't think that it would be fun, and I think the producer and I went and did one more experience, and I did have a couple experiences from that, but I don't even remember the messages that we put out there. But again, it wasn't so strong that I felt that I could say yes, definitely.
Well,
so I have to still bust it.
And it comes down to one key thing. I know, I can't even quantify how many actual coding languages I have. But it's more than a few dozen coding languages that I know. And none of them do I know the call to tap into supernatural. Right, so to read someone's mind or tone and that type of thing. I mean, there's actually ones that can try to tell if people are lying by the inflections of their voice, but you have to have some sort of baseline, which it doesn't get, by the way. So there's no possible way for that input of feel real strong about this to go into the program. That is going into you. Right, so that's making you hyper aware of that particular thing
and focus. And it's like when you do it, it's like focus. No, really focus.
Exactly.
Like, keep your focus, and like you can't have conversations. Hard to if you're completely focusing. You have another person there. You want to ham it up.
Yeah.
Like it's not easy to just focus.
It's an adorable thing thrown on it, and I think it came at an amazing time. People were trapped inside their houses. The fact that we didn't all murder one another is by grace of God alone, because the fact that we were trapped.
Maybe you have problems not murdering people. I'm okay with it.
Trap me alone with anybody for long enough. One of the two of us is making it out.
But something I do.
But it was good to get people out.
I think that there's some validity to the fact, and maybe you don't think so. Maybe you could tell me with coding. Like, can't they pinpoint areas where Other people have had supernatural happenings. Can't that be something that they use? Now, they're not saying, oh, I know for a fact it's supernatural. Okay, that word keeps coming up. But if other people have had experiences and it's out on the internet, isn't that data that can be collected to be used for something like that?
Yes, absolutely. The issue would be twofold. Either you go and search for it every time, which is, it would never be able to give us back a response in the time frame that it gives us back a response for. It would drain the hell out of your phone. Just the sheer processor that it would take to do that is large. So what you need to do in those types of situations is compile your own database. So you could compile it from other databases, but you would be continually updating it, yada, yada, yada. I don't see that as cost effective, probably, for this type of thing. So while it would be possible, I don't see it as practical. So the odds of them saying, okay, well, let's search for potential hot spots that might come up and might give us some good hits for people and all of that, I don't think that there's somebody on that back end updating that on some regular basis to try to get those hot spots. I just don't see it as
well, and I don't know if you
realistic.
looked into the company to see how long was this
I did.
about for. So how long did it take for them to kind of make it? Or?
It came from a couple of different spots, right?
Okay.
So if you look at the life cycle of it, the coder really was just interested in making this place to get people outside of their headspace. The lady that runs it is much more the marketing lady that put the flavor on it, and if she watches this and wants to meet, I would love to meet her. She seemed like an amazing person that was very engaged in it, and she didn't promote any of it as far as, you know, how realistic it was and all that.
But basically, it's basically an application used to get people out of their house and into their life.
Yeah, and not just out of their house, right? Not just out of their physical location, but out of their routine in their mind, and you know, so mind, body, spirit, all out of its comfort zone and into, which I am a huge fan of, right? I mean, that's how, again, I am the scientist. That's how you discover things. Is you can't stay inside the norm and find stuff out.
We both enjoyed Randonautica. We just can't say that it's, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not leading me to anything that I'm asking it to lead me to.
Gotcha.
I mean.
Okay.
Cool. Good job, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm bad at small talk.
So, I recently met Steven. He's probably going to be an asshole, and he is, but he's the kind of asshole that I can stand.
Both my wives will be watching the video, apparently.
I'm really excited to get to the point where we're actually doing the show and looking into different hauntings and places and spaces that people have told us about.
Some of my scientific buddies and I had a bet on how long before she just despises me, and so far she's outlasted any of our expectations at 2 full meetings.
Okay,
When
I'm gonna
something's
pick
important.
this hair off you and this piece of fuzz.
Noted.